orders of these subdivisional magistrate and the appellate authority would be final and binding. And what it does is it takes away the jurisdiction of the civil courts. And that is what is one of the objections raised by the farmers, that this would not be a fair mechanism for dispute resolution. So this is the salient feature of the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill. And also with regards to the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Amendment on Price Assurance and Farm Services Act. The aim and object of that act is to provide for a national framework on farming agreements that protect and empower farmers to engage with agribusiness firms, processors, wholesalers, exporters, or large retailers for farm services and sale of future farming produce at a mutually agreed remunerative price framework in a fair and transparent manner and for matters connected therewith. So, therefore, this provides for a national framework on a farming agreement. So, so this act provides that the saline feature provides that the price which is to be paid to the farmer for the purchase of a farming produce may be determined and mentioned in the farming agreement itself. And it also provides for a guaranteed price to be paid for such produce. So, therefore, it in a way tries to safeguard the interest of the farmers. And these acts certainly benefit the farmers, and it would get rid of a lot of middlemen which are right now existing in the APMC mechanism. So therefore, this is the scheme of these acts, and this is what it provides and lays down.
Jit, thank you very much for clarifying the law for the viewers. And I'm not a lawyer, and I'm also not a farmer, but I'm a businessman. So I understand the nuances of running any business. Farming is a similar business like any other business. It has a production phase, it has a distribution phase, it has a wholesale, storage, and then retail. So I think all these principles applies to farming. The farmers are producing and then selling it to the APMC mandis, who are then wholesaling it, distributing it, etc. I think you mentioned about the independence in 1947. Situation that time was that almost 80% of the population of India was involved in farming activities. And we have all studied in our books when we were young that 80% is the farming community, etc. But the situation is totally changed on the ground. Today, the farming community has reduced to about 30% population of India, and the farming industry is not similar to any other industry. Even though the law of the doing business remains the same, which is production, distribution, wholesale, and retail. In the event of farmhouse, what happens is that the land produce X amount of produce, whether you are producing a wheat or rice or vegetables, it has a capacity to produce X amount of vegetation throughout the year for hundreds of years. So one big difference in farming industry as compared to other industry is the other industry can actually grow. There is a growth element. Say, for example, if there's a car manufacturer, the car can double up its production and then grow the revenue and then also grow the company size. In case of farm, if you don't add up your land, you can't grow. The growth is only 1 to 2% year on year. So, in nutshell, what has really happened? I'm just doing this monologue with you just to explain to our viewers that what has happened over the last 70 years is that the farming community has reduced systematically because we have a finite land, and the contribution of farming has also reduced because the other industries like IT, manufacturing, automobiles, oil and gas have taken over those because there has been a lot of development in India. The GDP contribution of farming community is actually less than 20%. So 80% is coming from other industries, other activities that Indians do. So I think that is the reality of the whole situation. And then coming to the point where when Jeet had explained about the legal aspect of it, I think the very crucial point is that we have actually not given any elbow room and leg room to farmer. The previous law did not allow farmers to sell his produce in any other to even his neighbor. Suppose I'm a farmer, I'm producing wheat. I cannot legally allowed to sell my produce to my neighbor also. I have to go and have only one buyer, which is the mandi. And as you know, some of our viewers would know that there are two seasons, prime seasons for cultivation in India, and different produces are sold at that time. So the farmer has no choice but to load his produce in his truck or a tractor, go to the government warehouse, and take whatever money they get it,
Right.
right? And if, they are at the mercy of the person there. So I think, from my opinion, as a businessman, not as a farmer, not as a lawyer, I see as a pure Indian, I see that these laws will free up the farmers from all these compulsion, where they can sell to anyone, they can sell at any price, whatever price they can strike their deals at, and that will give them that will make them richer, just like any other businessman. So we should not doubt the intellect of farmers that they cannot do business. There are, what I've heard so far is that there are e-portals also started by government of India, where they can sell their produce. So I think we have to ensure that the farmers are intellectually more advanced, and they should welcome these changes, because now they will be able to get more value for their produce. And last thing I want to mention, Jeet, last year itself there has been another farmer protest in Haryana, where the farmers came to know that the peas farmer, the chickpeas farmers, came to know that the APMC bought their chickpeas for 6 rupees. I don't know the measure. I think it's a quintal or kgs. And within one day, in the wholesale market, they were selling it for 20 rupees. So you see, the farmers are the wholesale market itself is selling it for 400%. So by these laws, I think you're empowering the farmers. But we'll go back to the legal discussion. Why so much confusion? Why the political parties are getting involved? Because we are now these laws will benefit the citizens.
Right, absolutely. Well said. You really put it correctly. But as you said, that farming business grows 1 or 2%, but you must also see that since independence, the population has also grown 2 to 3 times. So basically, ultimately, the consumers are the people of this country. So therefore, they are increasing, and the agricultural produce should also increase. But recently, when this bill has been passed, what it provides is that today India has become surplus in most agricultural commodity. So certainly, farming and agricultural produce business has grown tremendously. And though people are coming out and not wanting to do agricultural business and want to shift into other businesses, but still agriculture has continuously grown in this country, and it needs the basic fair market and a proper market where it can take it to a next level. And therefore this act is very important, because earlier what the act is to do, and if I may just give the supply chain how it used to work. So initially a farmer has to go to APMC and give the agricultural produce. Then in APMC the commission agent would take it to the traders, and there would be a price discovery where the price would be decided based on the demand and supply. Thereafter, the trader would take it to the transaction agent. The transaction agent would thereafter take it to the wholesaler to the retailer to the vendor, and vendor thereafter to the consumer. So the farmer would sell it at, as you said, 6 rupees, but ultimately it will reach the consumer at 25 or 30 rupees, because in between there are so many people who are doing business with regards to the agricultural produce. So now with this new act, the farmer can directly take it to the wholesaler, retailer, vendor, or any of the trader. It can be anyone, and at the price which they can decide mutually. So these people in between who were to decide these prices are completely wiped out in this new system. Though the APMC will still be there and those acts will remain, but the farmer will have a new avenue of selling it directly to other stakeholders. So therefore, he will get a better price. I would assume that the prices ultimately of these farming products would also increase, because the business houses or the corporate houses who would also get involved would also sell it at a profit. So ultimately, the the cost of these products will increase, and ultimately the consumers will be at a loss. But I think the farmers would certainly benefit out of this system, and as it does away with a lot of middlemen who are in the existing system of APMCs.
So, Jeet, let me explain my perspective on this one, especially when you talk about the prices going high. Uh, in my opinion, what will happen in reality is that the amount that the farmers will get, for example, let's go back to our 6 rupees wala example where the farmers are selling it for 6 rupees. But in the new system, they will be able to drive more value for their produce. So they may get 15 rupees instead of 6, and the 6 rupees per kg feed, the consumer will have to shell out 100 rupees per kg. Ultimately, when I buy it, I actually buy it for 100 rupees. So my price of procuring it will reduce, and while farmers' income is increasing 300%, my cost of procuring the farm produce will reduce considerably, almost by half. So I will end up paying 50 rupees. And going back to the corporate buyer, I think the confusion has been created. I just like to clarify. You know, who's the biggest corporate house which is buying? It is the Nestle. It is
Right.
processed
Pepsi.
Pepsi. Those kind of guys are
Right.
buying, and these places to go and buy from. They have to go to FCI and buy from there. So these middlemen will go out. There are more options for corporate houses to buy from multiple sources, and the farmers will have multiple options to sell their food. That is confusion.
Right. Absolutely. That's correct. As you said. So middlemen. So it is required in that sense that these middlemen should go and farmers must benefit, because they are very important part of this country. So I think the farmers should understand, allow this law to operate, uh, allow this to grow, and thereafter take a decision where what are the loopholes and ultimately what can be corrected, rather than completely asking for the repeal of the enactments.
So I think the people who are asking for these repeal of these laws are the people who are going to lose their jobs, and the population of those kind of people are the middlemen and the setup which is reporting this to the state government or different political parties. So I think the farmers of all other states like Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, MP, etc. They are not complaining about it. It's only the farmers from one or two states which are complaining. So I think in interest of 30 million farmers in India, hardly 3,000 are on the street. So I think we should just ignore them and move ahead and implement these laws. That is what, as a common citizen, I feel. What is your opinion?
Yes, you are right, but the matters are also before the Supreme Court, and I think the farmers should wait for the uh, judgment of the Supreme Court in this matter. Because if they say that the provisions are unconstitutional or without power, then the only authority which can say it is unconstitutional is the Supreme Court, and they are already before the Supreme Court. So therefore, so they must trust the apex court of this country and wait for its judgment on this issue.
I think I appreciate your point, and Supreme Court is the ultimate authority. Since the matter is in front of the court, the honorable judges will decide for the benefit of everyone. And I leave it at that, and we can discuss this further because this is the matter which is still sub judice. We will come back on the subject, Jeet, sometime in future once their decision is made. But for the time being, this is what we feel. You have explained beautifully, and thank you for finding time to explain to our viewers what it means from the legal standpoint. I think this is going to be very valuable and knowledge-driven discussion for the viewers. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So I will catch up with you next Thursday as usual. Until then, bye.
Sure. Bye.
Hello, friends. We would like to discuss something very unique today in our show, and this is about the new platform, actually very popular platform, not new, new to India. It's called Your Passport to Grow, and we are very privileged to have the chairman of Mindfit Limited, which is the company behind YP2G, as we call it in the short. So let me welcome Mr. Neville Gond, and we will discuss further on this.
Good morning, CK. Good morning, everybody. And yes, it's brand new to India, but it's not brand new to Indians because we're going to be tapping into something that we should all be getting good at. And let me put a little context around that, CK, before we get into one particular subject. We go to school, and certainly in India, the expectation is you go to a good school, then you go to a good secondary school, then you go to a good university, and you get an absolutely brilliant degree. Sometimes one degree is not good enough. You go and do another one because you want to be more qualified. And then you make one expectation that your teachers have told you and your parents have told you all the way through, get a good degree, you'll get a good job. Well, I've got news for everybody out there. And it's not great news if you think that that is the equation, because it is an equation, get a good degree, get a good job, that works, because it doesn't work for many people. And there's a reason for that, CK, and you know the reason. Because it's the interpersonal skills we don't test, it's the attitude we don't test, and yet, if you're hiring somebody, what do you look for in a new recruit? Do you look for the qualifications and then hire the best qualified person? Or do you look for more? Simple question.
Well, I think as an employer, I will definitely look for a positive attitude and above all, can do person. Because, in our business, we want people who will take up the challenge and do it and not give up even before starting.
And the thing is, if you take on a new graduate, a newly recruited graduate that has got very little experience, it's always going to be a challenge. But you want them to have that grit, that get up and go, that I can do this attitude, even if this is brand new learning, because the likelihood is it will be brand new learning. But the majority of that learning is learning how to work with other people. And that's the purpose of your passport to grow. It's to fill that big gap in your CV that no one's filled before. So unless you've got this can-do attitude, you can tell if someone's got a can-do attitude by just asking 2 or 3 questions in about a minute. In fact, you can ask one question and you immediately know if that person's got a can-do attitude because they're open-minded, they're thinking, more importantly, they're listening. And the first topic we want to talk about today, because there are 10 elements of YP2G, the first element is communication. And you and I are long in the tooth, CK. One of the biggest problems in business is people don't know how to communicate. We don't know, the marketing team still struggle to talk to the customer. They're not generating the right information for the customer. They're not giving the customer what the customer wants to hear. They're giving the customer what they think they need to hear. So we're not listening, are we? And that's another fundamental part of being able to communicate. But we all know, and you know, CK, I'm sure, the importance of communication, don't you?
Yes, in fact, for the benefit of viewers, the YP2G program, which is now launched in India, is going to take you as a disciple and make changes, incremental changes in your thought process. And within some time, stipulated time, it will change your attitude towards the life, towards the way you actually approach the world. And that is why today we're discussing communication, where by taking small steps, spending 10 minutes a day, you can change your attitude. And that is one of the biggest leadership quality. So I think what are the main feature in the communication part? We would like to know from you, Deval.
Well, as I say, we split this into 10 parts. We follow something called STEM. I prefer to call it STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and maths. Now, these are not subjects, these are the characteristics you need to be in that STEAM arena. So we'll call it leadership for want of a simple term that we bring together. And we expect all of our leaders to be good communicators. So there you go. There's the first challenge. This is number 1 of 10. And at the same time, people say you can't teach attitude. Well, I've got news for those people. Yes, you can. We know how to do it. We've done it in many parts of the world. Even the most difficult individuals, we've helped change their attitude. And when you change your attitude, CK, as you well know, all of a sudden things start to open up. Your awareness level changes, your soft skills, as we call them, STEM skills change. That means your leadership capability changes and, more importantly, improves. So the key thing here, and the first thing we would focus on, is, are you a good communicator? And the question we always ask is, what does communication mean? And we're fortunate because we're all born with 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. So we observe things, we see what's happening with 2 eyes, we listen to what's happening with 2 ears, but how many people jump in with 1 mouth? We always are very quick to respond. And the thing is, when you observe with your eyes and ears, then you allowing your brain to think. And the simple fact is, you think in a can-do way, because we're telling you, we're teaching you how to think in a can-do way. So how to communicate better. And it all comes through practice. Anders Ericsson did some research many years ago. And he said, basically, it takes 10,000 hours of practice to be an expert. Now, what he should have said was 10,000 hours of focused practice. So not any old practice, this is focused practice. And when you think we're in school or university, actually we're in school up to the age of 18, for about 1,000,000 minutes. How many million minutes do you spend on that which is going to be relevant to a job in the future, your employment in the future? Because the majority of those 1,000,000 minutes are spent on you passing exams, not building your interpersonal skills. We make a big assumption that because I'm in the classroom, we're communicating, we're working as a team, we're being respectful. But there are some classrooms where that happens all the time, and there are some classrooms where it doesn't happen very often. So the key thing here is we're launching this program in India. So it's brand new to India, but you all know what it's about. And we all want great leaders, don't we?
Yes, Neville. So I think we will break it down feature by feature, and we will revisit this subject. And the good news is that people who wants to basically become a great leader, they must join YP2G. And the website is yp2g.com. It is so simple. Just click on that, and you will be given an enrollment screen. So it is something which you can do and you must do as part of your curriculum. And this is not taught in your university. So this is something very, very essential, especially for Indians, because India would like to drive the global economy now. And that is why we need to change our attitude and become a great leader. So congratulations, Neville, for launching this for the benefit of Indians. It's a world most popular program for leadership development. And we hope Indians are watching and they will join YP2G. Thank you so much.
No, my pleasure, CK. Just one slight change on the website is yp2grow.com.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. But the thing is, as we move further and further into India, I mean, it's a UK company. As we move further and further, it will be something else.com, which will be relevant to the Indian young people, because we need to galvanize young people and get them to recognize that a degree is important. Elon Musk says there's no point in having a degree. I don't believe that. I believe a degree is important. However, let's not forget the other part of the CV, that curriculum vitae part that every employer looks at. Who are you? What are you doing? Can I trust you? Okay, this word trust is always going to come up, and you can trust people with a can-do attitude, but if they've got a can't or won't do attitude, you're going to struggle with trust. So this is it's not brand new. You will have heard about this all the time. People will have talked about communication, teamwork, how to lead people, how to listen, how to be a good team player, how to work under pressure. All of these things, but all of those we're not taught at school. It's assumed we do it. But do we?
Right. So thank you very much for joining us today, Neville. We will revisit this subject again in the next show. Until then, I'd like to say goodbye.
Bye. Good luck, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Hello friends, welcome to Akulmek Live. I'm Kanchan Verma and today we have a guest from Chicago. We'll be discussing about how to provide support when a woman is faced by miscarriage. Miscarriage creates a variety of emotion and there's nothing right or wrong way of that feel. So we'll be discussing how her organization Sanjeevani provides support and emotional support to women who are undergoing loss of their child. Stick around to this episode till the end to know more.
Friends, have you ever wondered that making a lasting impression online is similar to landing on the moon? If yes, we have a solution for you. Akulmek Genius program will help you prepare for your upwards trajectory towards success in the digital world. Our program consists of 12 unique tailor-made sessions of 1 hour each, spread over 6 weeks. Akulmek Genius program provides you practical knowledge about how to optimally use online video platform with lights, action, camera, as well as crash course in using virtual screens. The program also includes a session on the grooming and online etiquettes, which are important for running your online sessions and webinars. At the end of the program, our participants would be allowed to make their own videos, which will be published on a very popular business channel called Akulmek Live. This will provide global recognition to all our participants. If you like what you hear, then using the link in the description below, join the program straight away or visit www.akulmek.com and click on Genius Program to know more.
Welcome back, and today we have Pramila Kumar, who is very active in community services. She has her own organization where she takes care about the problems like isolation or women who are suffering with miscarriage and the emotional support. So we'll be discussing about this today. So I'd like to welcome her. Welcome to the show, Pramila. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Kanchan. I'm doing very well, thank you. And thanks for having me in your show.
Well, Pramila, you see, you had been doing and serving community in a various portfolios, and one of that is that you also take care of the emotional need of women who are suffering or the aftermath, may I can say, of miscarriage. And I think that is very, very emotional phase for any woman. So how really you console these women, and I think that would be very difficult for you.
So essentially, Kanchan, miscarriage, or how we refer to as early pregnancy loss, it's an emotional and traumatic time for a woman. And not only a woman has to go through the loss of the baby, but there are physical impacts of a miscarriage. And it also leads to relationship impacts. So there are different ways that the healing can be done, because someone, going through miscarriage can go through grief, hopelessness, sadness, guilt, anger, jealousy, and intense feelings of loneliness. So what we recommend to them, that there are short term and of course there is long term steps that they can be taken.
Well, somebody who, because it's sometimes, I feel personally, being a woman, it's sometimes so uncontrollable, the sorrow and the loss of a baby. And then, of course, people who also, I think, blame you for miscarriage, because sometimes they say you have not taken care or something like that. So this situation is very critical for women. And when you talk about short term and long term, how you really initiate? Suppose if a lady is suffering from this kind of problem, I mean, I'll put it as a problem. How you initiate the guidance and recovery?
So essentially, when a woman goes through miscarriage, we have to allow her to grieve for the baby that she was unable to see. For whatever reason, the baby was within the womb and it just came out. So grieving is very important. Acknowledging the grief, acknowledging the fact that for whatever reason it was beyond the control of the would-be mother to ensure the birth of the baby. And also, sometimes we always recommend that the family, the spouse, or friends need to be there to support this person. Instead of blaming, let's fix it rather than blame or criticize or cause more harm to the baby. Sorry, to the mother, not the baby, to the mother.
Well, I can really understand it's very critical for any lady of this world when she suffers with the miscarriage. So, what are the precautions one should take? I mean, before we really get into this kind of situation.
Kanchan, I think a doctor can prescribe better to say what precautions are needed to avoid a miscarriage. But many a times a miscarriage does happen even if the lady has taken all precautions. And these are sometimes beyond the control of the mother. But the mother should always be feeling positive. No matter what has happened, it is not to be blamed, and there are always chances to have another baby. And to have another baby, the woman needs to ensure she's healthy enough to eating well, taking care of herself. They can go to a therapist, a support group, spiritual guidance, or simply take care and rest. These are some of the very important things which can be taken post miscarriage. And if the woman is having a spouse or a family members, they need full and unconditional support from them also.
Well, you and me, we all are mothers, and I want to know: is there any symptom of miscarriage? Can we really postpone this kind of sorrowful situation?
So pregnancy normally is termed when a woman stops having her menstruation. Is an indication that probably the woman is pregnant, most likely. And the onset of menstruation is another big symptom that the pregnancy is no longer active. Uh, And when it happens, I think the woman needs to take immediate help of a doctor and make sure that she is not in a very agitated state, because that will all trigger the miscarriage to happen even more fast.
Well, now the question comes now how the family, as you mentioned, it's really very necessary that women get support of spouse and family. But what happens in the society where we live, there's a lot of people around us, and how really you guide communities to react to this, because this is, I feel, is one of the accident, and accident can happen anytime, anywhere. So how you really feel that community should come forward in support of a lady who has just undergone a miscarriage?
A woman who goes through miscarriage, it's a devastating loss, and they think that they will never get better and they will never recovery. So to the community, give lots of love to the person who had this accident, and help, get the support. Pregnancy loss can create a lot of sense of loneliness. Make sure that the community is around this person, taking care as if the woman would have delivered. Because we just want to also call out Kanchan, the toll the body takes, it's very similar to having a child. So even if the child did not survive, the body takes the same kind of toll.
Now, talking to you about your organization, Sanjeevani. So, do you have these kind of patients, or are you really go in your community by yourself to give support? And how it is? Do you enroll these kind of ladies and help them voluntarily?
Yes, so we have support groups. So, if a female has gone through a miscarriage uh, uh, by choice or by accident, so another woman who has the same incident, they can join the support group, and that becomes a big way of healing, because there are women who have the same emotions, same concerns, same grief, same sorrow, and they all together bring in hope to each other. Support groups plays a big way, and Sanjeevani is also geared to help these women as needed. A person to listen to, a shoulder to cry to, a hand to hold to.
So, do you provide any online support also? Somebody who is out of Chicago and need your support. Maybe somebody is in India. Though in India, what happens? We have joint families, so rarely this kind of situation occurs. But still, there are families, there are people who are outstation, working, serving, professional, and they may undergo these kind of situations. So, do you have any online support?
Absolutely, Kanchan. We have an online support. We have two helplines, which is 24/7. Sanjeevani does get a lot of calls from India for different issues, and we also have a 24/7 chat. So people can reach anytime by chat and, of course, by phone to get the online support.
With another subject, and we will listen your ideas and support which is being done by Sanjeevani, and it was so lovely to talk to you again, so look forward
Likewise,
to.
Kanchan. Once again, thanks, Akulma, for having me.
Bye bye.
Hello friends, this is Chandra from Akulmac Technologies. Welcome to Top Brass. About 10 days back, there was a news that in UP, which is one of the province in India, there is a discovery, or you know the scientists have found a huge stash of gold, or rather, it's 3,000 to 6,000 metric ton of gold have been found deep inside the forest in our state called UP. Now this is going to change the dynamics, the global dynamics, and so far this much gold is available and it was sort of hidden out of plain sight for centuries. Nobody knew that such a big mountain of gold is there. That will change the dynamic, as I said, because uh, this finding of the gold will bring India number two after United States in terms of the gold reserves. So why this is so important? Let me very high level. Let me draw your attention to how economy works. So basically, economy works based on average person sees these currency notes, and these are issued by the central bank of each country. Like you go to Kenya, there will be a central bank there. They are responsible for printing the notes. Likewise, we have in India, Reserve Bank of India, which is responsible for circulation and printing of the notes. It's not that anybody can print these currency notes. Now, how much currency to be printed, that is a question mark. That it is basically based on certain economic facts, and the starting point of this economy, which is like foreign exchange reserves, how much what is the size of my GDP, etc., etc., and how much currency I have in circulation. All that really started maybe 1,000 years back, maybe 2,000 years back, but wherever it started with gold. And in ancient time, the India was known for the gold. Everybody had gold. In fact, today the Indians love their gold so much that it is part of. It's like it's the ultimate investment. It's considered as an investment. It is also considered as ultimate inheritance. So while the Indian government does not have that kind of a gold in reserves, but the people, which is 1.3 billion people, whichever religion they all love their gold, and all of these people have some gold or the other. So if you bring all of this into organized sector, we will be much ahead than the global any country, even United States. We will surpass them. But let's not talk about that part, because that gold is privately held with individuals in the country. But this one, which has now been found out, is a mountain of gold, and the estimate value is 3,000 to 6,000 metric ton in state of Uttar Pradesh. If that is added to the Indian gold reserve, we will be number two after United States. You can straight away imagine, as a layman, I'm just not talking too complex things here. I'm not talking about inflation. I'm not talking these, difficult terms. I'm just saying that if you have gold, you will have better economy. Your ability to invest increase, your ability to spend increase, there will be more currency in circulation, and blah blah, and so on and so forth. So this has a very profound implications in years to come. Right now, the status of this gold is the UP government is going to do e-tendering, and by way of e-tendering, they will select the companies, whether government or private companies, who will basically excavate this gold and produce it. After that, what will happen? Whether Uttar Pradesh will have access to this gold, or whether they will have a joint ownership with central government and the Uttar Pradesh government. So will it belong to India as a whole, or will it belong to Uttar Pradesh? That is what something that needs to be seen and ascertained. But right now, the way it looks like, and in fact, because of the Shaheen Bagh protest, this particular news was totally buried by all channels. But this is going to come up in a big way. It is going to transform India next 10 years. It will become, India will again live the past glory of being called the golden sparrow, Sone ki chidiya. So with this, I will end this video, but I will meet you tomorrow with some more interesting facts. Until then, bye bye.
Hello friends, welcome to Akulmek Live. I'm Kanchan Varma and today we are discussing about music therapy. But before that, I would like to remind you there's a free gift available only for you. Stick around to this episode till the end. We will guide you how to avail your free gift. Hello friends, welcome to our show today. And you know Wednesdays are very special, and here in our Akulmek team we wait for every Wednesday because we get chance to listen to Dr. Shambhavi Das, who is a prominent musician and singer. So without wasting any further time, I would like to welcome Dr. Shambhavi Das. Welcome to the show, Shambhavi. How are you doing today?
Namaskar, Kanchanji. I'm doing very good. Hope the same for you.
Yeah, we are good. We are coping up with this pandemic, but or every Wednesday we get chance to listen to your songs and understand the raga. So, what raga we are discussing today?
So today I will be discussing Rag Khamaj, which is a very popular rag, and I'm going to explain it all the perversions of the raga.
Well, as usual, our program doesn't kind of starts with a beautiful song, which we are waiting that you should sing a song for us.
So in Rag Khamaj, there's a very recent and popular song, and it's a Bollywood song. I would like to sing. रघुकुल रीत सदा चली आई, प्राण जाए पर वचन न जाए, दिया नदी देरता न देरे नो, तदिया नदी देरता न देरे नो, तदिया नदी। रघुवर तेरी राह निहारे, रघुवर तेरी राह निहारे, सातों जन्म से सिया, घर मोरे परदेसिया, आओ पधारो पिया, घर मोरे परदेसिया, आओ पधारो पिया। दिम तनन देरना, दिम तनन देरना, धनि सामा सागमधा, निधा मा गा पा, गम प सा सा, गम प नी नी, गम प नि द प म ग रे गम द प, रे म प नि द प, रे म प नि द, रे म प द म प नि नि द प म प गम रे सा नि सा रे रे म प प द द म म नी 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 रे सा नि ध नि द प म प द नि द प म ग रे सा रे रे गा। Thank you so much.
Bahut khoobsurat. It's so wonderful to really listen to this wonderful song. So, coming to this Khamaj, what type of rag is this, and is it beneficial in well-being of our daily, what we say, routine?
So this rag is, yes, it's very beneficial, and the good part of this rag is that it's very shringaric, it's very romantic, and even in the movie songs, you will listen to the romantic songs in Rag Khamaj. There are many songs, and the good part is that it normally hits your well-being, and it is very good for the affection, that it emanates affection, love and affection, because it's much more into the it gives a lot of the acceptance, which is much more needed in these days. So like very briefly we talk about the chakras always. So this raga is normally for the gut memory, because in this raga if we sing the ga and the ni, that is the gut Manipur chakra, and the nishad, that is the Sahasrara Chakra, is very important. Now, gut chakra, that is the solar plexus, Gandhar, which is Manipur. It is the gut area. So this is very, very important area, because all the maximum of the petals, the emotions are connected with this area. Second very important chakra is Sahasrara Chakra, which is your pituitary gland, and Nishad is the sur ni. Sa ga ma pa dha ni. This is ni, and which is connected to the Sahasrara Chakra. And Sahasrara Chakra has it's called a Brahmarandra. It has the thousands petals or emotions residing in it. If you activate that Sahasrar Chakra, or if you are balancing the chakra or the tattva inside it, it is very good for your brain cognition. So all in all, this rag is good for your it works on the depression one and second cognition. So depression, how? Because normally gut is related to the depression part. Gut, the metabolism, the constipation, digestion, indigestion, excretory system, all these areas are related to that. And this works on the intestinal memory. Memory, as in we call it gut memory, because mind and gut connections are very, very much studied these days. So this is very important in the gut connection. And secondly, since it works on the pituitary gland, and the good part of this raga is that it connects with the pituitary and the lower part of it, because it has both the knees in it, both nishads, the higher nishad and the lower nishad. So lower nishad is not a prime chakra, it's an upachakra, the knee komal. So how it goes is sa sa ga ma pa dha ni sa ni da pa. So when it goes up, it has this chakra. Sa ga ma pa dha ni. So these both the frequencies are not the same, it's different. Sa ni dha pa ma ga re sa. And it's very good on the depression as well. It works on the depression, and we have tested many patients with it. Now, if we see the Ayurveda version of this, Manipur chakra is very, very important for the fear or the non-acceptance. Fear, like these days, it can be any fear. It can be that COVID stress, COVID fear. Oh, I should get the COVID. So all these fears are associated with the Manipur chakra, and therefore the depression is related to it. It's very important to activate the Manipur chakra or the abdominal area, and to make your gut strong. That is also connected to immunity. So therefore, in that version, Khamaj works. So if you can listen to the flute of Khamaj or Sarod, it's very, very beneficial these days.
It is a very good advice to our viewers. Now, as you mentioned, we are undergoing into pandemic, and we, as family, as individual, we have a lot of stress. Now, what happens for children? We may say that we can scold them and ask them to really sit and study, but the problem comes when elder people, I mean like grandparents, they have depression, or they are not able to cope up with the current situation. So what is your advice, that how they can change their routine, and with music, and music act as a therapy to them also, especially in this period?
That's a very good question. And these days I'm dealing with such clients, and I'm very happy to say that I have been associated with many NGOs of senior citizens. And this is a very big problem, that what they are dealing with. If the youths are not able to cope up the stress, how can they? Because they are quite. Now, we have to understand a few problems, first on a very basic level, and then on the psychological and physiological levels. Then we go to the Ayurvedic and the music therapy, the therapeutic level. So first, basic level, we have to just see and talk to them that there are many problems with. I am not generalizing that everybody has, but most of the old age people have problems. One is if we talk about one of the problems is that they take a lot of medicine. So that medicine stress is also there. Everybody is takes the BP medicine, the diabetes, the if they have some more comorbidities, so they are taking that medicine. Some of the senior citizens do take uh, the sleep medicine as well. So, and through that medicines they are taking from so many years, they have certain, like they have a diet problem, they have any mood swings, they have a lot of mood swings with that. So that we have to deal with. So now that is some other science, that how medicine works and how medicine affects the mood of the person and how we have to tackle it. We have to talk to them, and that's a different kind of music they should be listening, and we make them listen to a certain kind of happy music. There is a rag called natai we use with the people, with such people. Now another very big problem is the lack of acceptance, fear again, the element as I said, it's related to the gut. So the gut memory has to be little stronger. Then as with lack of acceptance, many old age people crave that they are not given that attention. Then one very important problem, they don't like loneliness because they are unable to differentiate between loneliness and solitude. So we have to talk to them, we counsel them uh, that it's okay to be alone. They crave that their children are not giving the time. They are sitting in the US and not giving the time to. So we have to tell them that loneliness is not a problem. If you feel that it's okay, you are with yourself and you are into the solitude. Let's change the perspective. And how we change the perspective now, loneliness, that trance, like I said, it works on the Muladhar chakra, that is our seat chakra. That works on the our spiritual angle. So that is very, very important for every one of us to activate that Muladhar chakra, because that is related to one of the petal or emotion we have in Muladhar is the Sahaj, means neutral. Yoganandam means we are into the yogic stage. We are good in all stages. That is, so once we, that's why meditation, quiet time. It is why it is scientifically proved that meditation is good, because meditation, in some cases, you are bringing yourself down, you are grounded towards Muladhar chakra, which is your survival, your seat. So, one is that. Second is your anahata chakra, the heart chakra is important, because that is, as I said, it's important for acceptance, love, affection. If they do have, so that replace the lack of acceptance towards people, they crave a lot. And the third thing is gut, as I said. Gut is the Manipur chakra that works on the medicine. So the hormonal changes are there when you have a lot of medicines. So this is one thing. So if we just connect the physiological and the psychological, we have to read them, that these are certain common things which I find in the, like, they are alone, they are aloof, so that is Muladhar. So when, if they are having a sleeplessness, so that's a brain element. So we have to make them listen to certain that kind of ragas. Then heart chakra, some like Khamaj, Durga is a rag where little acceptance, this area is heart means love, acceptance, affection, compassion towards people. So this area is activated through that. So they should listen to these kind of music which has a lot of madhyama in it, and we tackle with that. So and if they do have certain problems, like mainly old age people have dementia, so obviously we do have music therapy techniques for dementia, Alzheimer, Parkinson, these areas. So they do have, and we get results on that. But I think for stress and anxiety, these are the root causes. So instead of just tackling the stress and anxiety, we have to get how that stress and anxiety is affecting the person, and what are the basics. So when we go into that, and then we kind of heal them. And with the normal people, the normal ladies also, especially the normal old people, we play the musical games as well, which is very, very good for the dopamine release, that is the happiness hormone are released. So we play a lot of musical games, antakshari, sing with this word, rapid fire, humming the tunes. So we play a lot of games and they are so enthusiastic. So these are certain tools which we use.
Very nicely you have put it how the raga can help in curing so many diseases and of course loneliness. At this point of time, I would like to ask you. Now, there are times when we have take up job and we don't have time, though may be inclined to music, may be inclined to learning painting. Now, when we are retired and we have a lot of time, so I would like to know how to start learning music. Actually, how to choose that rag which we can start learning music.
So ragas, which the basic ragas which everybody should learn and they will learn very easily is Yaman, like which I have taken in the last few episodes. Yaman is very easy and it's so popular that people normally resonate with it. Then Bhopali, second. Then Bhairav third. Now Bhairav is which I think I have not taken that thing. So these three ragas are there which are quite and khamaj is also very basic rag. So these ragas are there which is very popular and it you can easily sing if you are learning that raga, especially Yaman. Yaman is so like I said 95% of the Bollywood songs, cinema songs, ghazal, bhajan, Sufi, qawwali, so many songs are in Yaman. So when you sing, definitely you will be able to, you will recall any song with it, that okay, this is the song, this was the song. So, so people can learn it very, because it's very flexible rag. Now, but this is a very pleasant rag. Bhairav is a rag which is very important, and as it is, created by Lord Shiva, it's so ancient rag. So it's very important to learn rag Bhairav when you start learning classical music. But the thing is that it's a dull rag. It's a Gambhir Prakriti rag. So normally, I read the students or adults or whatever. If they are a little, some students tell me I'm a very serious person. I like Gambhir ragas. So then I start Bhairav. They have everybody is from different attitudes. Some people are very playful, bubbly. So the Yaman, Kafi, these kinds of ragas we do introduce. So we start with these ragas. Bhopali is a very bubbly rag, very sayonara. So these kind of songs, and it's very important to tell them the casual music of that particular raga, so they normally understand the raga. When they understand, so it's easier for them to go to other steps.
Right. Actually, now I would come back to our day raga, where the raga which we are discussing now, Khamaj. So let's listen some music or some songs of this raga.
So yes, so just to introduce, this raga has all the Shuddha Swar Saptak except Ni Komal while coming back. So we go with all the natural notes and it's very pretty much easier. Sa ga ma pa dha ni sa. Come back with Ni Komal. Sa ni dha ma ga re sa. So this is how all the other notes are. Now the prime notes in this raga is ga and ni, that is the Manipur, the ga and ni, Manipur and Sahasrara. And very important song in this, very popular. It is actually a thumri, but it has been taken into fusion music by Shafqat Amanat Ali. मोरा सैया मुझसे बोले ना, लाख जतन कर हारी, लाख जतन कर हारी, मोरा सैया मुझसे बोले ना. Then आयो कहाँ से घनश्याम. This is also a thumri which was taken into movie. Buddha Mil Gaya, there was a movie. आयो कहाँ से घनश्याम. Similarly, there was a song in Gadar. आन मिलो सजना आन मिलो सजना. Then धीरे धीरे मचल ए दिले बेकरार कोई आता है. यूं तड़प के न तड़पा मुझे बार बार कोई आता है. धीरे धीरे मचल पिया तो से नैना लागे रे. This is not fully a command, but it's a base. पिया तो से नैना लागे रे, नैना लागे रे, जाने क्या हो अब आगे रे. नैना लागे रे, पिया तो से नैना लागे रे. These are certain songs which, if you are little dull, you're feeling low, if a person is attached to something and he's not feeling very good, the opinion problem, so many problems, so they can listen to such songs and they can just feel good.
बहुत ही खूबसूरत. It was so wonderful to hear singing you all these oldie songs, and they are good also. So as usual, it is so good to talk to you and to listen all the songs and understand the Khamaj rag. We'll be meeting again and discuss many more ragas in future episodes. Till then, bye bye, take care.
Thank you so much.
We have some unique Akulmek memorabilia which will make you look outstanding. The graphics on these corporate gifts are based on the global best business practices. To become recipient of one of these gifts for free, you have to watch this video till the end and provide your valuable comments, or you can also share your experiences. The person who makes the best comment would be chosen to become a recipient of these beautiful Akulmak gift, absolutely free, delivered to your doorsteps. The winner would also get a chance to be invited live as a distinguished panelist during our next video. What are you waiting for, friends? Please subscribe Akulmak and smash that like button.
Hello friends, welcome to Akulmek Live. I'm Kanchan Verma, and today in this episode we'll be discussing about Environment Day. The theme of Environment Day was ecosystem restoration. So are we doing ecosystem restoration in day-to-day life? We'll be discussing this with our guest today. But before that, I would like to remind you there's a free gift available only for you. So stick around to this episode till the end. We'll guide you how to avail your free gift. Hello friends, welcome to the show, and today we are discussing about Environment Day, which we celebrated on 5th of June 2021. Now it was started in 1973 by United Nations. So the Environment Day means different to different people. So I will be asking to my guest today, Ritu Gupta, to tell us about this and what this day means to her. So welcome to the show, Ritu. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Kanchan. Thank you for inviting me to the show, and I'm absolutely fine. Thank you, and I hope you're also doing fine. And it's a pleasure for me to be invited on your show to discuss a very important topic, which is about environment.
Yeah, lovely. Because the environment over the period of time become a crucial topic to discuss, because for various reasons, because there is some problem pertaining to environment. It is not been very comfortable when we talk about environment, because there's pollution and all sort of bad things is happening with human life and of course the animal life. So what do you really understand and what do you feel about this environment day, and how we can really go forward to improve the environment?
Yeah, I think it's a very nice thing to celebrate Environment Day. And, what I really, for me, the celebration of Environment Day means to say thank you to the God for giving us such a lovely environment, giving us oxygen that we are breathing and we are alive. But at the same time, in today's present scenario, I feel that Environment Day celebration means that we should make other people aware about how to keep our environment clean and green and not to create mess for the future generation. So this is something which we have got free of cost from the mother earth, and we should really preserve it and be grateful for it. This is what I personally mean by Environment Day celebration, and also by planting one tree at least by one family or a person.
Yes, and this year 2021, approximately 143 countries participated to celebrate this Environment Day in this June.
Yes.
And but lately there's an American research that found the environment is changing every day and it's changing rapidly. And we also feel that we have to do something about our changing environment. Though the topic of this Environment Day was ecology, restoration. So what you really feel that as a community member we can do to really teach about certain things which can give which can save our environment?
Yes, to save the environment, we need to definitely, I agree that we need to restore the environment. And by restoring the environment means going back to do things which we were doing, and not to, cut down the trees, not to finish the forest, not to do the deforestation. And global warming, the environment is changing. It's because of global warming. The change of environment is there everywhere, not even in bigger cities, but when you go to the rural areas also. And I think it's all over the globe because of our present lifestyle, our habits, and because of so much of population. There's so much of population everywhere, and everyone is creating some kind of garbage. So the creation of this garbage is definitely leading to the change of environment. You see the glaciers are melting. It's because people have reached everywhere. They're living everywhere. They are doing all kind of commercial activities, which should be stopped. Of course, you have to do commercial activities, but then there are some rules, some norms which have to be followed, and we should not play against the Mother Earth. So, as a community member, I feel that anyone who's living in a society, who's living in a community is a social animal, and we at our end, we should create awareness. We should plant trees, and in present pandemic times, since we cannot go out of the house, by staying in the house, we can create a community group on WhatsApp, perhaps send each other text messages also, send out the research paper for other person to read, that what is environment all about, why things are going so bad, so that there is some awareness. And when things become normal, when we are able to go out, so we can do our bit of share, whatever we can, perhaps by planting trees, perhaps letting people know how to save water also. And as a community member, I feel that personally right now we should do more of gardening in our house, by just planting green chilies or the mint leaves or whatever, anything. It's very good for the atmosphere also.
Yes, actually, it is very good point which you have mentioned, especially when this period of time of pandemic and everybody is at home. But there's a positive side of being at home is that river water is being cleaned people are not visiting riverbanks. The air is clean because there's no vehicle on the road, so air is clean. So this is something which is good, which is happening, though we all are suffering with pandemic because we have restricted movement. Children are not going to school, and that is, I feel personally, is a lack of development when we talk about children. But there's one very negative aspect of this whole, especially pandemic, which has given, is like dumping these PP suits, gloves, masks, and that again is creating a problem for environment. So what you would like to suggest and guide people to really do with whatever they are doing, like dumping and increasing their footfalls in the hospital for small things, and going to giving away surgical masks, throwing it on the road sometimes if they are coming from somewhere. So that is one thing which is, I think, is a negative aspect of current time.
Yes, you know the positivity, as you said, and I 100% agree. The positive side of this lockdown has been that we are not going out, so you see less of traffic on the roads. So there is no traffic. The air is clean. Since there is no traffic, there is no consumption of fuel. Also, the air is clean, and we can see birds, clean sky, blue sky. Everything is fine. But the negative part of this pandemic has been that people are wearing PPE suits. They are using so much of plastic in the hospital, which has to be thrown. It's a garbage. It's a one-time use. So, you know, there are ways that you can dispose it of. First of all, the sanitation staff, the kids, even the kids in the house, they should be taught, they should be informed, they should be made aware that these things should not be thrown anywhere. There is a way of dumping out these things, and then they are collected and then further disposed of in various other manners. It's a big process of how to dispose of these things. But then one should be very clear about, you should not be using these things till the time it is really essential. Till the time it is very essential. So I think the development is required right now, the development of the brain, which can happen only by educating people about how to make your environment stay clean without these e-wastages and plastic wastages. Anyway, because we all know that plastic is really spoiling the environment. And because of this plastic, so much of carbon dioxide is being created in the environment, which further is changing the environment, the weather, the climate change is happening because of this. So at the moment, what we can do is make people aware about it, make them know, make them educate about all these things, give out the information also.
Yes, global warming is creating a lot of problems to different countries and almost all the continents. And lately I have heard that in Turkey is also facing a great problem because their seas are receding, and there is people are really working towards that. Fishes are dying, and it will be creating a lot of problem for them. But I feel communities in the neighborhood should rise and teach or practice about eco-friendly products. And that is, I think, which is very, very essential to kind of adopt that kind of lifestyle. And I think and this lifestyle which we are talking today, I think when we talk about Indian culture or Indian tradition, it was long being practiced in India, but still there are some pockets where people have forgotten to live an eco-friendly lifestyle. So I think that is one thing which is very, very essential. What do you say?
Yes, I totally agree. And I think the RWAs we have RWAs in every society, every colony. So they have a very important role to play. And at the grassroots level, the people should go out, reach out to everyone and make them aware about the traditional way of living which we had in India, that was very eco-friendly way. So we can again restart those things, and it is very important. It's not that people are not aware about it. It's just that you have to give them a push again, make them realize the things which were happening 10, let's say 20 years 30 years or 40 years back, they were pretty good. So these days we have all got into a comfort zone, and we all want a certain kind of lifestyle and things to happen fast. So perhaps we have changed the lifestyle, we have got into some new things also, but then we have the time again to restart the things. And RWA should have these kind of sessions where they invite people, where they invite the senior citizens also, where they invite the families and young kids, and where there's always a healthy discussion, two-way discussions, people talking to each other and making them introduced to the old things also. The young kids, they're not aware about what was the use of earthen pots, how it was beneficial for our health to drink water from the earthen pot. Now you see everyone is drinking water right from the refrigerator, so it's like wastage of electricity also. So these are the things I think which should be made, can be done at RWA level, which is like working at the grassroots level. So every small group is definitely giving something positive to the society.
At this point, I also want to raise one thing, because I think these courses or this training should be given very early from in the school. So that will also make a
Yes.
change, I guess. What you?
Absolutely, I do agree that these there should be a curriculum in the school to young kids, to kids who are going to the school at the very young level, and they should be told about the environment, how to preserve the environment, how to restore the environment, and what things they should be doing and what things they should not be following in their daily lives, which is very important. You teach young kids, and they further take these things back to home, back to their elders in the family, and in a way they are giving back what they're learning from the school, giving back to the society. So it's a very good way to teach young kids about it, and it should be there in the school syllabus also.
You see that if we care about environment will care about us. Everybody will be happy.
Sure.
So it is so wonderful to talk to you, Ritu, and discuss few points which are very essential for a healthy lifestyle. So we'll be meeting again with next episode with the next great topic. Till then, bye bye and take care.
Bye bye. Stay safe and take care of yourself. Thank you.
Bye.
We have some unique Akulmek memorabilia which will make you look outstanding. The graphics on these corporate gifts are based on the global best business practices. To become recipient of one of these gifts for free, you have to watch this video till the end and provide your valuable comments, or you can also share your experiences. The person who makes the best comment would be chosen to become a recipient of this beautiful Akulmak gift, absolutely free, delivered to your doorsteps. The winner would also get a chance to be invited live as a distinguished panelist during our next video. What are you waiting for, friends? Please subscribe Akulmak and smash that
Hello, friends. This is Chandrakant from Akulmak, and I'm very honored to have Mr. Nebul Gund on our show today. Nebul is chairman of Mindfit Limited UK, and we have tied up with him to bring the world best leadership program. And today he will tell us about how to come up in life while working under pressure. So, Nebul, welcome to the show.
Good morning, CK. Good morning, everybody. And we've all had pressure on us at one time of our life. Students have pressure all the time. Students are under pressure at the moment because most are working from home. They're not seeing their teachers on a regular basis. It's all digital. They may be in a household where there are two or three young people around them, and they all want to use that PC at the same time because we're not all inundated with a PC per person, especially in large families. So the pressure's on. The pressure's always on. So, working under pressure, CK. Have you ever worked under pressure?
Well, I got used to this pressure, Neville, maybe. But I think there could be more pressure on me. I'm not having so much pressure.
Well, I think the interesting thing is, and a lot of people are now going to say, I don't believe that. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what people will say when I say the next thing. You actually create your own pressure. You put yourself in a pressurized position because we're not very good at managing time. So here's, for instance, okay? You've got young children and they've got homework to do. Do they diligently go away and do their homework? Or are they on the PC, on the Game Boy, playing their games, watching Netflix, pushing homework off to one side until you turn around and say, you've got homework to do, television off, go to your room and do your homework. So what happens? Are they brilliant students and go and do the homework without you telling them?
Not at all, Neville. In fact, they're not doing their homework. And the
You
teachers.
kept a straight face there, CK, and I was actually wondering what you were going to say, but no, they don't. And the thing is, they're making their own pressure. They know that they've got homework to do, and we all know what we've got to do. And in business, there's this. You can even buy these pads, and at the top it says to-do list. And the list goes on and on and on and on. I'm sure you've had this from time to time, maybe in your career. And you keep writing things down. Then you flip the page and you write a few more things down. And then you think, well, I'm getting to the third page now. I'm not going to do that anymore. And you put it to one side. And that to-do list ends up being a to-do list. But when are you going to do it? And the thing is, the longer you put it off, the more pressure you're going to be under. Here's a classic example. I mean, I know most people are in lockdown currently, but if you've got a Zoom meeting, okay, do you expect your clients to turn up slightly ahead of time or on time or late?
Well, my expectation is to all the people to turn up on time and not definitely late. They should be on time.
Okay. So we're even in this digital world, okay, and we're in Zoom, and we've not had this discussion before, so this is an interesting one. Do people turn up late?
About 50% people turn up late.
So even when it's Zoom and they haven't had traffic and they haven't had to negotiate, other people on the road, and they haven't had to time their train journey or get the flight or check in or leave their hotel on time, 50% don't turn up to a Zoom conference, digital conference on time. Interesting, isn't it? And I would think that's probably the same for most people. But immediately you put yourself under pressure because now you're late for that Zoom meeting. The likelihood is, if you're a busy person like me and like you, you've allowed a certain amount of time. And if you're smart, you've allowed more time than you think it might need. But if you literally have got your appointments back to back, you're going to be under pressure because it's going to be coming up to the last 10 minutes of the conversation, and you've got to go in 10 minutes. But the thing is, it's really interesting where you are, and you haven't given yourself enough time to make that communication, that conversation count. So what happens? The likelihood is you run over. So you've run over the first, you've got late there, you've now run over this one, and let's say you run over this one by half an hour, and all of a sudden you're putting yourself under more pressure. Now, I don't believe anyone listening here is going to disagree with me, because most people are going to say, yeah, you're right, yeah, I do that all the time. So the point is, now what we need to do is to work out how not to work under pressure. In other words, don't put yourself under pressure. But when you are under pressure, how to cope with the pressure. So there's two different things we need to be working on. And if you're like a lot of people out there, when you get under pressure, your work declines. The quality of your work declines. Therefore, you're not putting in your best effort. There are a few people, and I'm one of them, that actually love working under pressure. I love working to tight deadlines. Not that I'm lazy, not that it's the only time I do my best work, but I can feel the adrenaline moving, you know? And you and I have been working on a few things over the last couple of years, CK, and you know that when we get to that, final point, we've given it our best, despite the fact we've worked up right up to the last minute. But the majority of people will not be able to give their best because the pressure will take over. You will feed the pressure, and you're constantly looking up at the clock. Am I running out of time? And while you're doing that, the brain's not being the best it is on the project you're currently working on. These are quite simple things, and I can see you smiling, and you're probably thinking of times when you did that, CK. But we all do it, don't we? We all time watch, oh, have I run out of time yet?
Yes, it's very funny that you mentioned to-do list, Neval, because this is exactly what happens to me, where you make a list and then you throw it out after a week because that to-do list is now stale. There are other things on the plate, including those which were listed on the to-do list. So now the list is much bigger, the pressure is mounting on. I think we all deal with that, and year on year, day by day, month on month, we actually handle this. So I think the important thing is your program, leadership program, has worked out a method of training people like us, whether you are a student or a chief executive, to help your brain fine tune so that you can handle the pressure. I think we would like to know more about that.
Well, the interesting thing is that handling pressure is different for everybody. And we've all got our own mechanisms. And it's a question of, do we know that we've got our own mechanisms? So if you actually say to someone, can you handle pressure? And they're in a real, what you perceive as a pressurized job, yes, they're obviously handling pressure, but they may not feel that way. They may be in this imposter syndrome arena where they don't believe they're handling pressure very well. The reality is they probably are, but they don't feel it because they're feeling under pressure. So this feeling you need to evaporate. You actually say, I've got this task, I'm going to spend this amount of time on it because that's what the budget says, basically. Well, that's what I can afford to spend on it, and I'm going to make the most of it in that particular time. That's being focused, being determined. And what that means is you need to take away all of the other distractions. And one of those could be that your mobile phone. You leave it, you leave the volume off, you switch the volume off, but actually you see it flash, And if you're a really busy person, it flashes quite a lot, actually. A WhatsApp message comes in, a Twitter feed comes in, an email comes in, a person's trying to contact you, that comes in. It will flash on your phone. That's what they're designed to do. It's supposed to help you manage your day. What it's actually doing, if you're in this pressure syndrome, is it's adding to your pressure. Because it's immediately saying, I've got this and I've got this and I've got this to do. And what that means is, while you're thinking about, I've got this and this and this to do, you're not actually focused on what you're doing. Now, it's common sense, really. And the thing is, people don't know how to focus. But they do when you explain to them, what do you do? How do you do this? Where do you do it? How good are you at doing it here and there? And the whole purpose of a program is to help you explore who you are. Not who I am and not who you are, CK, but it's the individual going through the process. So they literally look in the mirror and say, who am I? And once they then literally create their own prescription as who they are. And the nice thing is there's for every identification of your weaknesses, there's always a solution to improve a weakness. And that's the purpose of a coach, of a good program, as you call it. And that's what we do.
Fantastic, Neville. In fact, people who are watching this video, we just want to inform that this is a very ingenious way of handling things. And there are many aspects of leadership, and working under pressure is one of the key aspects, because every leader, every person who's actually working on a project need to have these qualities. So the MindFit, which is a world-renowned program for leadership, has this subject of how to work under pressure as one of the key areas of improvement included. So you can write to us. This is just a precursor. Please come and join the program. Write to me or write to Neville directly and know more about it. So Neville, you have anything else to add before we end?
Well, the world needs leaders, CK, as we've said many times before. We need people that can lead others, can get the best out of other people. And to do that, you've really got to get the best out of yourself first. So that's where we start. You know, we look in the mirror. And if you really want to go and motivate yourself today, just type into Google or YouTube, you know, one of your favorite songs about reflection. I love Michael Jackson's The Man in the Mirror. I think it's brilliant. I love the tone, I love the music. More importantly, I love the lyrics, because it says, if you want to make a change, take a look at yourself and change. So that's the whole purpose of being MindFit. Do it yourself first, and then you have the rite of passage, the operating license to go and help others. So it's pretty simple stuff, but it is for a lot of people. It's going to be going back to basics, because we don't learn this at school. We don't learn this in the education arena. We make an assumption we learn it. When we network with other people, there is an assumption that we know how to communicate with other people. And if you notice, when you go to a networking meeting, some people are really good at networking. And then you put yourself under pressure because you say, well, they're really good at it and I'm not. It's this self-imposition, you know, I'm no good. Well, yes, you are, actually. Everyone's a genius. It's just that they haven't found it yet. So it's a fascinating arena. And the more we can do with people around the world, the better the place will be. Simple as that.
Yes, Neville. In fact, MindFit program is a need of the hour, especially now, and especially in India. I think all of us and most of us who are in profession, in teaching, education, they should actually look at this program and join in. So thank you very much, Neville, for joining us today. We will catch up with you again tomorrow with something more interesting.
See you tomorrow, CK. Good luck, everybody. Enjoy the day.
Bye-bye.